Good morning, everybody. I meant to look and see what the time was before I started, and I've totally forgotten to look. I want to say it's about 3 o'clock. I could be wrong. First Insomni live for a long while, because I've been away and doing stuff, and in places where actually I can't sit in the middle of the night actually talk to people. I can sit quietly and do, but not appropriate to be sat talking. Although most people know I'm off my head already in the middle of the night, but don't want to wake people up unnecessarily. So, what's been going on? Do you know, I can't remember when the last one was I did, so I've been up to Scotland. I think I did one before Scotland. Went up to the Glasgow Quilt Show. That was good fun. Lovely, lovely time up there. Drove all the way up with Angela for company, which was lovely. And set stand up. Quite a big stand, which was, do you know, it's always nice to have a large stand, only because I can put more quilts and things up and put more of a display up. I love putting a display up. Don't necessarily need tons of space for gear, but definitely for the display, because we like it to be bright and happy for everyone to look at. So we didn't do too bad. Hey up, morning Rosemary, what are you doing up? It's just come up, Rosemary is watching. So we were up in Scotland and met loads of lovely people, some that I sort of know names of on here, on Facebook and the like, but I've never met. So that was fabulous. It was nice to meet people. And I was doing make and takes on my stand. So we were doing Japanese folded patchwork using my templates. So that was good fun, teaching a few people how to use them. I had one particular group, and it was so lovely. 3 young ladies who are at university up there, and were into sewing and doing and producing and changing stuff and doing. But every single one was a foreign national. I want to say Bulgarian, Swedish, and Irish. Yeah, Bulgarian, Swedish and Irish. 3 young ladies. Do you know what? They were lovely, and it was so nice and refreshing to meet 3 youngsters who weren't necessarily into everything quick, everything now, everything easy, everything automated, technology, that sort of stuff, who were happy to sit and stitch. So they all made their coasters, because you're making like a little individual thing, a coaster. And then they were sort of discussing this, that and the third thing, how to, what to, and typical students. So do you know what? I gave them a template so they could carry on. Morning, just woke up and needed a drink because of a little cough. That's not nice, Rosemary. They're annoying when you get a tickly. When you get a tickly cough in the night, it's a pain, isn't it? So, off back to bed, young lady. If you've had your drink, get rid of your cough. Off you go. I'm just doing a little stitch here so that my thought in life, when I'm sat in the middle of the night stitching and you all think I'm nuts, which is fair enough, you're entitled to every opinion, and you're probably right. I'm resetting myself, if that makes sense, so that actually I'll stitch here for half an hour, then I'll find myself a drink, and then I'll go back to bed, and hopefully I'll go back to sleep, which is quite good. So these 3 young ladies at the Glasgow show, it was such a pleasure. Can't tell you. Not seeing enough youngsters coming into crafts and stuff. even if it's only practicalities of things and how to and what to, do you know? And they were so eager to learn, and they all did their own knitting and this, that and the third thing, or, you know, clothes making or upcycling of clothes. And they weren't necessarily textile or fashion students either. So I was really, really heartened. It was lovely. So Scotland was really good. And it was very naughty because round the corner from us was, I think it was called the Sisters Bake or something. And they did like tray bakes. But they had these boxes of bits. I have to blame Lorraine next door on the stand next door to me because she told me about them. So we went round and got a box of bits that we ate between us all, which was very nice, and I shouldn't have, but it was quite nice. But it was a lovely show. So that was Glasgow. Andy and Joe were there, Crafty UK. They were around further from us, but they were about. That was good, and we all shared, which was one of the reasons I couldn't do lives in the middle of the night. Got to settle again, just like you. Yeah, it takes a little while to settle back down again, doesn't it? Rosemary, yeah. Yeah, so that was really good. So I'm gonna do. It was an ICHF show, so I'm gonna do their show for them in Exeter in September. I'm gonna do make and takes there, but I'm teaching for them as well now. So I'll be doing a class in Exeter, and then next year in Glasgow I'll be doing a class up there again as well as making takes. So that's really good. So it was worth going for that. And they now know me. They've asked me for years to go and do stuff, but I've just never got round to it. So after the Glasgow show, Andy and I, and Angela and Joe, we then went off over to hotel at Prestwick. It was called Adamton Hotel. It was like a big old stately home. It was amazing. And we had our retreat there, our first Scottish retreat. So much fun. They treated us so well at that hotel, you can't believe it. A lot of the ladies came over from Northern Ireland, came over on the ferry to spend time with us as well. And we had a couple of classes and we did a pyjama party, which was great fun. Do you like my stripy pyjamas? Bought them for me pyjama party because that was really good. So we decorated hot water bottle covers, and bearing in mind it was quite cold and windy up there at times. Had some lovely days, but also had some very wet days. So that was very appropriate. But they treated us so well. I can't get over this hotel. The first day, because it's full board, because we like that when we're stitching, we like lots of food. It was ridiculous. We had full-on breakfast. And then they gave us a 3-course lunch, and then they wanted to give us a 3-course dinner in the evening. And in the end, I had to go and have a little word with the chef. I think Andy had a little word elsewhere as well. So between us, we stood the chef down a bit. So lunches then became a selection of sandwiches, sort of sausage rolls and some salads, which was lovely. It's as much as you need. Couldn't believe the way they treated us. They were absolutely fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. It was one of these hotels that I would say older style, very comfortable, being refurbished. The room was absolutely spotless. Absolutely spotless. And then this wonderful, great sewing room, absolutely huge. It was more like a ballroom. Well, I suppose it would have been a ballroom when it was built. It was lovely, nice and bright and high and happy, and yeah. So if anyone's thinking of a retreat next year, the one in Scotland proved to be fabulous. So do come and join us. As I say, Andy and I both did a class, and I did a pyjama party. So we had, in effect, our 3 classes. and lots of sewing. And I don't know that anybody actually did anything that they brought with them specifically to do, other than maybe Angela and himself. Because in the goodie bag, and you'd put templates and bits, and I'd put in a pattern or whatever. And the ladies elected not only to do our class, but to do the stuff in the goodie bag. So, I've lost my scissors now. So we landed up making coups, which was not on the plan at all, because I'd given them a coup pattern. So that was lovely to see that going on. So yeah, can happily recommend the air retreat. It was lovely. It was really, really good. So then I went on up Scotland to Pitlochry to see my niece and her to be. So that was lovely to see them just for a couple of days. And we had snow. I mean, what's that all about? I'm in Cornwall. We don't do snow. I'm not impressed. Although, to be fair, it looked very pretty. And it didn't last very long, but it was up on the mountains around us. So, actually, it was very nice, and it wasn't disturbing me in any way, shape or form. So that's okay. I don't mind snow when it's like that. So that was good. So we had a couple of days up there. And then, driving home, because by this time I'm on my own, because I dropped Angela, who'd come up with me for the show and the retreat. I dropped her to Glasgow Airport. She flew home. And I carried on up, as I say, to see family. But on the way home, my first stop was into Dumfries, which was just a little bit off of my route, to go to Dalscone Farm. So Dalscone Farm, or Dunscone, I should say, they call it, I think Dalscone. I have a Facebook page. If you're into all things farming, or just interesting how life is on a farm with animals and how they're cared for and all this sort of stuff, they are so worth a follow. I don't quite know how I started following them about a year ago. I've learned so much. And it's just so heartening to see this group of young farmers with all these animals, and they've got a play area as well, so it's a public sort of farm. But all of these rare breed goats and sheep and all sorts, and giving birth and whatever, they make it so much fun. The learning from them is amazing. So anyway, I'll shut up about that moment, but I did go into the farm on the way home. I made that my first call, my first stop. So I got myself a drink and used facilities and the like, and had to buy a cow's head, as you do. Highland coo head, shaggy coloured one to put on the wall. I think I put a photo on, if anyone's interested. It was great looking thing. So that was my first sort of stop on the way home from Pitlochry. So then I carried on down to Carlisle. So at Carlisle, if you go off, there's a Tesco's just off the motorway. So I go and get me fuel there, because it's that little bit cheaper. So that's my second stop. So that was really good. Then I went for it. I went all the way from Carlisle, right the way down past Birmingham. And I think I stopped at Michaelwood, Gloucesterish. Past the Gloucester services anyway. So that was very brief. Then what did I do? Then I went on down to Clumpton. Come off at Clumpton, there's a Tesco's there as well, so filled up there. Price of fuel, horrendous, but we all know that. We all know the idiot that started the war that we don't need, any of us. So I went in field there, and then I came on home. So I managed that whole lot in 12 hours. I can't rate it well enough, actually. When our roads are clear, they're fabulous. Yeah, you've seen Dalscone on Facebook. They are just so enlightening. Sorry, I just looked at a message from Rosemary, and she's watched them on Facebook as well. They're just, as a farm and youngsters and educational, they're amazing. And the care for their animals, they know all of the animals by name, all their little quirks. Hard work, such hard work. But they are so good. And do go and have a little look and a follow. Dalscone Farm. Scone, as in a scone, pronounced wrong, as far as I'm concerned. Dalscone. Dalscone. Very Scottish. So I got home in 12 hours. So I was quite pleased with that. I went to bed early because I was so tired. I was up in the night. But there we go. I went back to bed and made the effort because of having such a long journey. So that was Scotland. That was really, really good fun. So then it was a case of straight back into replenishing stocks and cutting kits and seeing reps and doing orders this week. Anyone that watches this that had an order while I was away and had to wait for it, thank you so much for your patience. Everybody was really good about it. Got them out on Monday as soon as I got back. So that was good. Look, I've got a knot in this. That's very annoying. Can I see enough to get in the loop? That is the question. Pull the loop and then pray that when you pull back the other way it goes. There we are. That was good. So this week's been full on doing and prepping and all the rest of it. And I am going to just mention, for those of us that may or may not have known, we lost our cat this week, our Tommy Tom, Black Cat Tom, who had his own Facebook page, who lived in my studio. Very, very sudden, very, very sad. We think he was poisoned. He was a mouser, so whether or not he ate something he shouldn't, I don't know. But we couldn't save him. And I've been in a bit of a state since then, so I've not been able to face doing a live, even though I've been awake every night this week. He was such a huge part of my daily routine. And all the ladies that come into the cupboard, everybody knew him. He was such a character. I was so blessed to have had him for the 6 years that I did. But he was too young to die, really. But there we are. I can't do anything about it. He's gone. Just live with his lovely memory. So, there we are. So that was my sad news of the week. So I've not been very fabulous. And then yesterday being Thursday, and the Thursday of the month, that I go up to Somerset. I go up and I teach at a place called Sampford Arundel. There's a lovely little village hall there. And I have beginners and other ladies that do other stuff. Yeah, Rosemary, he was a character beyond. So privileged to have had Tom with us. He chose us. He was somebody else's and arrived and decided he was living with us. Or with me, I should say, out in the cupboard. He really was everybody's, but specifically mine, if that makes sense. Or I was his. He wasn't mine. I was his. I was there to do his bidding. But he was a stunning cat. He really was. You never replace one like that. So fortunate. I went on to Facebook, on his Facebook page, because there's all sorts of photos of Tom on Black Cat Tom. And I thought, I'm going to have to close the page down. I'll give it a couple of weeks or so that those that follow realise. I don't want to just disappear it on people. So I went through the photos and I thought, are there any here that I need to keep? Because I generally chuck them on Facebook and delete them. So it was like 1,000 photos of him. Unbelievable amount. So I spent I don't know how long going through. That was one of the jobs I did in the middle of the night. And downloaded all the photos I wanted of him. And then had to transfer them from my phone onto a hard drive and all that sort of stuff. Takes time. But yeah, couldn't believe how many. He was such a poser. Such a poser. I was very, very lucky. I got the biggest cuddles and hugs and stuff from him. He knew the inside of my life, which was very, very lovely. I don't know who I'm going to talk to now, more so myself, I suppose. Unless anybody there's offering themselves as a cat without an opinion. But there we are. So, yeah, so yesterday, as I say, we went up to Sanford, or I went up to Sanford Arundel, and we got a mixture of ladies up there doing different, when I say mixture, different, I want to say capabilities, I don't know what's the right word, experience, whatever, mixed. So we have beginners and those doing stuff that are more complicated. It's lovely to see such an array of projects going on. Somebody else has joined us and watching, whoever that is. Hello. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so if anyone's up in Somerset or near enough striking distance, you're always welcome to come and join our day. I'm there to guide or teach or whatever. Or you can just do your own stuff. You do not have to do what I'm saying or doing or anything like that. It's quite an informal group. So if you want to come and join us once a month, we do that nice group there, as I say, Village Hall. So that's always good. We had some orcas going on yesterday and table runners and traditional sampler quilt nearly finished. And what else? Oh, another beginner doing, what were we doing? Different parts of their sewing journey. That's a nice way of putting it, Rosemary. Yes, they're all on their different parts of their sewing journey. Yes. Oh, we did a sunbonnet Sue yesterday with one lady. That was good. But there's all sorts of everything for everybody. And it, as I say, it's an informal group. You do not have to do what I tell you. You come along, you bring what you want. If you need help, I'm there. If you're a complete beginner, then I start you off from the beginning and away we go. So, yeah, so if you're anywhere near, it's Wellington area really, Somerset, and you want to join us, just give me a shout and I'll let you know when the next one is. I want to say April 17th, but I could have that completely wrong. It's always a Thursday. But give us a shout, that's great fun up there. There we go. Right, I'm going to finish to the end of this, and do you know what? I'm going to finish because I have no idea what the time is and how long I've bored you all for. And obviously I should say, shouldn't I, that I'm sat here doing hexagons, as you can see. I'm just putting them together. Says she. Can't get the needle to go through there without getting paper. There we are, I don't want paper. Or card, I should say. It's very thin card that I use. I find it easier and better than paper. I recycle all of the tickets that you get at the Grosvenor Quilt shows for your classes. They save them all for me, and then I use them for my hexes and stuff. So yeah, just putting a rosette together. One of these days I'm going to have to continue putting all the rosettes together. I have started, I need to do a few more. Everything tends to be a bit random. I like random. Right, okay, so there we are. I'm going to finish there. That's giving you an idea of what that one's going to look like. There's all sorts of greens around blue, just because I can. A couple of odd greeny dark ones there. There we go. Just what have we got going on? I'm off to Basingstoke tomorrow for the next retreat. So watch this space for what's going on, and come and join us. Come and join us somewhere. The three amigos, so Andy, Crofty UK, Julia from Crosspatch, and myself, Abbieanne, Patchwork. Husband Paul's coming with me this weekend. And at this particular sewing retreat, he's going to be servicing the ladies' sewing machines for them while we're there, which is an added bonus of coming to one of our retreats where possible he comes with me, which is always a good thing. And we've got a quilt show. I forgot to tell you. On Sunday, again, at the retreat, so Basingstoke, I want to say it's Basingstoke Hotel and Spa, or Basingstoke Hotel. It's a Britannia. We've got a quilt show the three of us are putting on. So the Three Amigos quilt show. We'll have our pop-up shops there. If you're local and you want to come in and have a look, please do so. It's on Sunday for the day public. If you fancy a lunch, they do carvery and stuff in the hotel, which is always good. And then we'll be straight into our retreat for the next 3 days. But please do come and join us on Sunday if you're in that area. Right, okay, as I was going to say one more thing, and I've said 6 things instead. Have a fabulous day is what I'm saying. Be lovely.